Welcome today to Laguna Tools. My name is Jay Andrews, and today we're going to talk about fence systems. Laguna's developed a brand new fence system that's designed to fit your saw, and it's called the Driftmaster fence system. And while we're looking at fence systems, we considered a number of different reasons to change the fence system. Many of you like the tall fence that we have on a lot of our band saws. You like the fact that it goes high and low quite easily. We tried to make this design a little bit easier and a little more functional for the shop. Let me show you a few of the challenges that we considered when we're developing the Driftmaster fence system. Now, as you know, here at Laguna Tools, we like to slice wafer-thin veneers from lots of hardwoods. And when we slide the piece of wood through the bandsaw, the preference is to put the wood to the inside so that you have the big block up against the fence. And by doing so, the veneer cut is going to come on the outside. The reason behind this is pretty simple. If you were to do the cut the way that you see the butcher do it, and I call this bologna slicing, where you put the big block of wood on the outside and the thin cut on the inside and push it through the bandsaw, the only part against the fence on the back side edge here is just the veneer, and it can flap back and forth. The big block of wood, because it has a lot of mass and momentum on it here as you're pushing it through the bandsaw, can actually steer itself through the bandsaw. It diminishes the quality of the cut. The advantage to doing it this way is it allows you to get repeatable cuts by pushing them through, but the quality of the cut suffers and the fence isn't doing anything for you in the back side. So the alternative is to move the fence over, put the big piece of wood on the inside, and take your offcut on the outside. Now, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that I'm going to have to go through each time I make a cut and position the fence over an increment at a time, and it requires that I get the tape measure out and make a measurement for each and every cut. That's nice and it works, but it's a little bit slower. So what we designed again is this Driftmaster fence system. And the reason we call it the Driftmaster fence system is that it is a complete system to replace an existing fence or to install on a different bandsaw that might have a different type of fence system. And it has a couple of different advantages. First of all, as you know, this fence flips from high to low. When I do that, I have to loosen the two bolts that are on the bottom, and I'll grab my trusty Allen wrench, loosen the fence system right here, and put the fence over on its edge. When I do that, I have to go back and readjust it to square it to the fence. And we thought that there should be an easier way. We want to make the veneer cuts without having to go back and take out a tape measure every time. There had to be a better way. And that way is the Driftmaster fence system. The Driftmaster is not only designed to be a retrofit for a bandsaw with a good fence system, but also there's other fence systems that might be in the marketplace that might have a fence that has a lot of slop or play in it, or have other issues that make it a little bit tough to use. And so not only can you install it as a retrofit for this saw, but as a complete replacement system for other brands of saws as well. Now, this is the Driftmaster fence system as we've taken it out of the box, and it consists of a number of different components, and you just want to check and make sure that you have everything. Number one, of course, is the nice fence rail here. This is 31.5 inches long and 4 inches tall. Again, this is a high-low fence, and you'll see that there's a T-slot on the bottom as well as on the back side to allow you to move it in both positions. This is the main heart and soul here of the Driftmaster fence system. This allows you to use it as a standard fence and to slide it back and forth by hand, but also to give you the incremental movements of the fence by locking in the threaded rod on the bottom here. On the back here, you'll see the anchor block that anchors the fence in, as well as the hardware. And these are universal mounting tabs that allow you to mount it to a Laguna bandsaw or to another make of bandsaw. On this saw, instead of using a round steel bar like we do on the Laguna, it actually has a square bar and it mounts to the bottom side of the table. Now, in order to mount the Driftmaster on here, we're going to remove the original fence system. We will drill the edge of the cast iron and mount the system that way. Now that we have things fairly well leveled off, we're going to come back and have a look at the back side here, and you're going to see that there's 4 handles that you're going to use. These two on the top right here, again, they're ratchet handles. They can be repositioned in a number of fashions here, but those will be loosened anytime you want to make a drift adjustment for your fence. And then once that is set, we can lock those down. And we'll show you how to make that drift adjustment in just a moment. Now that we have the Driftmaster fence system mounted on this saw here, I'm going to show you how easy it is to mount it on a Laguna. We're going to start with the 16 HD. We're going to start by removing the fence that's on here, and this is pretty quick. We'll take the extrusion off here. We're going to actually take these 2 bolts off. This will come off, and you'll see how quick it goes on the Laguna bandsaw. was an easy installation, and I did that with these universal installation brackets. On the HD, you can probably get away with even leaving those off and just picking out the right set of holes on the back set of the rail and putting that on. So now, so far, what we've done is we've left the fence in this position, which allows us to use it just like any standard fence. And of course, there's a lock handle on the bottom. Let's go to the next level now. What I'd like to do is we're going to take this little bracket right here. We're going to move it over to this side. With the fence in this position now, it'll actually engage the crank rod, and you can see that this actually moves the fence in increments. And every turn, every full turn is a 1/16 of an inch. There's graduations on the side here if you want fractional sizes as well. Every 2 turns is an 1/8 of an inch, and so if you want to do a cut that's a 1/16 of an inch thick, you're going to actually make 2 turns when you're pushing the block of wood this way, because you're going to take into account the thickness of the blade, which is about a 1/16 of an inch. So for a 1/16 of an inch veneer, you're going to move the wood over an 1/8 of an inch to allow for the curve of the blade. So we'll take 2 turns for every cut we make. Let's grab a piece of wood and let's go ahead and use the incremental adjustment. Now, of course, before I do any type of cutting, I want to make sure that I set the drift adjustment on the fence. And again, that's done through the cam wheel. Let's just do a quick check and see where we're at. Okay, I'm off just a little bit. I'm going to take just a quick turn, make a little bit of an adjustment, lock it down, and I'm going to slide it over just a bit. And another quick check. Perfect. Now that is the fastest drift adjustment ever. Let's go ahead now and start cutting some veneers. Bring this around, unlock the fence. There's 1, 2, and I'm going to line right back up in the same notch. And here we go again. Okay. Wow, that cut never ceases to impress me. It's a phenomenal cut off the Resaw King blade. If you don't have one, you should get one of those. Now, if you have any questions at all on the Driftmaster fence system, or if you want to know if it mounts to your saw, you can do that on our website or give us a call. You can dial us toll-free at 800-234-1976, or you can go to the internet at www.lagunatools.com. When you're on our internet site, you can look around at some of our bandsaws. You can look at the blades under the accessories, or click on accessories for bandsaws and go right over to the Driftmaster fence system. Thanks for watching today, and hopefully this will enhance your woodworking as much as it's going to enhance mine.